Everyone, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, Crypto Assets, and Interviews. Today's Wednesday, July 5th. Hope you're well. Happy hump day. And in this video, I've got a controversial subject I want to talk about and a bit of a different style of video. I'm going to be giving my thoughts and opinions on how many American banks could realistically fail in the coming years and decades. And I think it's going to be a drastic number, a massive number, and I'm just going to try to put this into perspective for you. But again, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know for sure. This is just me speculating, giving my thoughts and opinions. So we'll discuss all that and more. Before we get to it, though, make sure to support me in the channel by subscribing, liking the video, sharing with anybody that might find value, and ticking the bell. You'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I do a next live stream. And speaking of live streams, I'll be doing one a little bit later on today. And for supporting the channel, I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Hit over 500,000 views on the channel. So doing a 500,000 view giveaway later today. We'll be doing a live stream. We'll be giving away an annual membership, a gold membership to the Power Group private community. And that's valued at about $150. So good luck to the winner there. All you have to do is just click on that video here under community. Click on that video, bring up the 500K view video, and just place a comment. I'll be picking a random comment. And again, doesn't allow duplicates, so please just comment once. But best of luck to the winner. I love each and every one of you who supported me along the way. I really do appreciate it. But as we know, 2007, 2008, the financial crisis was one of the worst we've ever seen, next to 1929, the Great Depression. And then in 2008, the federal government created the Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP, which was a $700 billion government bailout designed to help troubled banks and other companies and keep them in operation, right? So we know that the bailouts was something that really, helped, keep the economy from really just seeing complete turmoil. But we know that that's probably just kicking the can down the road, right? We can't keep doing this forever. And any fiat currency, right, the US dollar, ever since we took it off the gold standard, is basically doomed to fail. Any fiat currency that's backed by nothing is basically doomed to fail given enough time. And I think that's the way we're going. And there's just so many banks in the US that's not even funny, but we're starting to see this get even worse. And right, the reason why Bitcoin was created was after the financial crisis, right? And it was a libertarian movement. I think it was created by the government. We already know that Homeland Security said they met with the 4 Satoshis. I think it was a group of people from, whether it be the NSA or whatever, maybe they set up some follow people or something like that. But I think, not to get controversial, I think it was a 3-letter agency. And I think that the governments are behind it. Not sure which one, but I would say probably, the European government, some sort of European government and the U.S. government. But again, don't know for sure, but it's odd the timing that it came out right after the financial crisis, and it's going to help with transforming the financial system and banks as we know it, right? We'll no longer be going into a branch and things like that. Like you got Tangerine here in Canada now, doesn't have any branches or anything like that. So like I never go to the branch barely anymore at all, right? So, and then pretty soon we're going to be able to send money, at the speed of light, just like the internet of information, we're going through the internet of value, right? If we can send money, if we can send information from here to China, from Canada to China in a matter of seconds at the speed of light, why can't we do that with value, right? That's just going to happen. And then the cost is going to go down as well. And then not only that, all these micropayments and things like that are going to really help these small banks stay in business, right? Because they're going to cut their costs down and it's going to help them really stand the test of time. But we know that Silicon Valley, that bank collapsed, and that was a huge bank and they got bailed out. But essentially it was a lot of the big tech companies that were behind it and had their money tied up in that. And then we also had Signature Bank, which was the third biggest bank failure in the U.S. history. And again, this is just a couple, right? There's other banks. I won't get into how many and the names of them, but there's tons of other banks that are rumored to be struggling and potentially insolvent or just going bankrupt. And we know that it's probably just the tip of the iceberg. There's been no shortage of people saying that this is just the beginning. This is going to be worse than 2008. Even Elon Musk has echoed some of that this could be one of the worst crashes in market history. I also did a video on preparing for one of the biggest market crashes in history. If you haven't seen that, you can check that out. Basically give my game plan of how I'm preparing for that inevitable crash, and which I think is very much a possibility. But again, how many banks could realistically fail? I would say close to 3,000 to 4,000 banks in the U.S. How many banks are in the U.S.? There are currently 4,844 insured commercial banks. Are you kidding me? There's almost 5,000 banks. Like we know that Larry Fink today was on, he was actually on Fox with Charlie Gasparino. And he said that there's over 4,400 banks. And that is in line with what Google here is saying, 4,844 banks. And he says that crypto is digitizing gold and that BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF could help make the sector more democratized. So just bringing it to the masses, right? Bringing it into the spotlight and into the mainstream. But absolutely, I think that he's right. And this is something I was talking to my girlfriend about it. I've been talking about this for many months now. It wasn't just Larry Fink who reminded me of this or made me think of this today on Fox. I've been saying this for a while now, and it kind of sparked the interest for this video. But yeah, we don't need 4,844 banks in the US. I mean, for contrast, how many's in Canada? There's about 80, right? So like 80, that's a huge discrepancy there, right? How many's in the UK? The United Kingdom has about 357 monetary financial institutions, MFIs, right? So the United Kingdom's population was 67.33 million. U.S. population of 331.9 million in 2021, 38.25 million here in Canada in 2021. It's actually about 40 million now in Canada. And the UK, like I said, 67.33 million. So let's break this down. We'll break out the calculator and we'll take a look here based on the population. So if we take a look at the population in the US, 331.9 divided by 38.25 million here in Canada, that's about 8.67 times the amount of people in the US. So if we take the 80 banks in Canada and we times it by 8.67 times, that's still only about 700 banks to justify, right? And I know what you're thinking. There's a lot more money circulating, right? This is the biggest GDP and economy in the world in the US. So, okay, maybe around 1,000 banks, maybe 1,500 tops. But why do we need that many banks? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Why do we need almost 5,000 banks in the US? And then if we take a look at the amount of banks in the UK based on 67.33 million, that's actually kind of in line with what I'm thinking, right? So there's probably going to be, and it's probably going to be a lot of the smaller banks, right, that go, the way of the dodo, so to speak, and just go belly up. But it's usually going to be the ones that are massive, right, that are going to get either bailed out or they'll just swallow up all the other small banks, right? But based on that logic, again, I know that there's a lot more money in the US, but by that logic, I mean, we should see this probably around between 1,000 and 1,500, 1,000 to 1,500 banks by all of this is said, by the time this is all said and done. And, with Bitcoin and crypto and all the other digital assets really transforming the financial system, the banks, like as we know it, are going to transform. There's no need to have banks in the current form as we know it, because the times are changing, right? There's going to be a time where the whole financial system is going to look completely different, right? We're going to see the tokenization of everything. We're going to see stocks and bonds. Eventually, you'll be able to buy stocks on the Toronto Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ or on the NYSE. And we'll be able to buy it 24/7, 365 because it'll be trading on the blockchain. It'll settle with finality in about 3 seconds, and it'll be trading 24/7, right? 365, just like crypto, right? Because everything will be tokenized on the blockchain. So, in my opinion, I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. And like Larry Fink said, I think there's just way too many banks in the U.S. And I would agree. I've been thinking about doing a video on this for a while, and this, like I said, him coming on Fox Business and talking about that really sparked the idea for that. But again, I could see a massive drop. A lot of people are saying, is this the end of the bank failures? I think we haven't even seen the worst yet. And like I said, I really don't see why we have that many, over 4,000, almost 5,000 banks in the US. Like, I could see anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 to justify that. But for me, it just doesn't make a lick of sense. But going to end it there, though. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, as always, in the comments section below, and we'll continue the conversation there. Hope you have a fantastic night. It's Rob with Powell Group, and thank you again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth. We'll see you in the next video.